Good morning everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Crystal. I'm here in my flat in Rochester and I am feeling better than I did yesterday evening. I was exhausted. I had the most horrendous headache, but I'm fine now. So today it's Sunday. We've got lovely brilliant sunshine outside again in Rochester. It looks really nice. Looks lovely. I think it's going to be a bit cooler than it was yesterday. Yesterday was terribly hot. I struggled to breathe and to get cool. So my cat is playing with this balloon. My cat loves balloons, Harry does. So yesterday I went to the Sweeps Festival. First of all, I went into the Co-op and I got some bits and pieces because I wanted to get the newspaper. I hadn't read the newspaper in a while. I also wanted an ice lolly because I was feeling hot. So I went into the Co-op and I served myself. I don't get scratch cards anymore, guys, because they are a waste of money. I don't know what's happened to the scratch cards now, but I was winning on some of them. I actually was winning. And then all of a sudden, the scratch cards get taken over by somebody else, and then there's no wins anymore. Now, you're talking high value cards, you're talking the £5 cards, not winning anything on any one of them. And £5 is a lot of money to waste, right? So I don't buy scratch cards anymore. I've seen a guy on TikTok scratching £600 worth of scratch cards off and only getting £320 back, which is disgraceful, isn't it? He says, let me scratch the cards and waste my money instead of you wasting yours. But he shows you that these scratch cards are not worth buying. So I will not buy scratch cards anymore. So I got myself a newspaper. I got my yuzu drinks because I like those, the strawberry, banana and chocolate yuzu. I didn't buy myself a sandwich. The shelves were empty, the fruit shelves were empty. There was no bananas, there was no strawberries, there was no fruit apart from some raspberries. So I picked myself up some raspberries. What I did see didn't look appetizing at all. I don't know what is happening with our food, what is happening with the shelves not being stocked properly. I don't know, but I went in there yesterday morning. Saturday, there was hardly anything in there. So I picked up some Tutti Frutti drinks because they were advertised. They're bad for you. They are, but I'll try one. Tutti Frutti sugar-free drink. The self-service checkout got stuck. Every time I put an item through, it got stuck. This woman had to keep coming over to me to reset the self-assessment checkout. It was pissing me off. Every item, beep, 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 beep. She came over, did it about 5 times till eventually it stopped. Then she went over to the desk and started serving other people. It was pissing me off. It kept going off. I forgot my lolly, so I've scanned the stuff and then I got my lolly. Then I went out of the shop. There were dogs everywhere. I didn't film it for YouTube because I was uploading a video to YouTube. So I went out without my camera. If I'd have taken my camera out yesterday morning, I had shorts on and bare legs, and you would have seen that all these big dogs coming towards me as I was going into the Co-op. Big dogs. They were on leads, but they were big. And the owners, when the dogs come over to you with the big long lead, I mean, they're these expandable leads. It doesn't, they just let the dog go to the end of the lead and it jumps up at people still. So I kept away from the dogs on leads. Came back into my flat and I rested for a bit. I needed to charge my phone, and then I thought, right, we'll go to the Sweeps Festival. I knew it was going to be horrible. I knew it was going to be crowded. I knew it was going to be noisy and full of strong smells. But I thought, let's do it. So instead of taping it, you guys, I went onto TikTok and did a live stream. So I live streamed it. I've got photos on my Facebook. Some really nice photographs. And I live streamed it. So I walked up my road. I didn't live stream it from my road. I was up the high street. The reason why I was getting pissed off. I was getting shoved and pushed about. I've got disabilities, and there was mobility scooters everywhere, and wheelchairs, and a wheelchair wheel ran over my foot. A wheelchair. Now the person probably didn't even know they ran over my foot, but I've got some injuries from going down Rochester High Street yesterday. I've got a bruised toe. I got poked in the back. I got pushed in the side. I mean, a lot of it happened off camera. Because I first of all, I wasn't walking down the high street with the camera. I got pushed, shoved. Oh, it was horrible. So basically I started filming the Morris dancers, some ladies in red and white, really pretty. It's on a YouTube video, lovely. But people, no respect for other people, walking right through, you were getting pushed, and just people weren't interested in the dancing. They were just pushing and shoving up and down the street. I thought, right, I'm going to stop off and go in a charity shop. So I went in the Hospices of Hope, and it was packed. I couldn't move. It was like sardines. And I thought, right, I can't shop in here. I cannot shop in here like this. I'm bloody hot. I'm sweating. There's people everywhere. And I thought, well, we'll come back next week when it's not so full. They had a Nicole bag. A bag with Nicole on it, Nicole, a little handbag with Nicole, and I liked that, but I left it. I just could not shop in that shop. It was so packed full, and I was being pushed past, and I just walked out of there, walked up the street, and then when I started filming, someone kept shoving me in the back, right, just like push you around like you're a piece of meat, and I'd had enough of it. So I thought, right, I'm going to do some live streaming. So I went over to TikTok and I started live streaming, and it didn't get better, it got worse. These people don't care. They don't care if they shove and push you about. They don't care what they do. They've got no respect for other people. Not everybody. The shop staff who have to deal with all these people coming into the shop from different places must have had a lot of stress, because I was stressed out to the max, but I kept myself cool. There was a woman in front of me with a Garfield bag with like wide teeth. It's like you're being, I don't know, I've never seen anything like it, being goaded to the point where you feel like lashing out. But when I've got a camera in my hand, I won't, you know what I mean? My son wasn't with me, I was on my own, and I kept calm. And I was being goaded to the max. I was being triggered to the max. Things with teeth on. Remember, I'd gone into TikTok, someone had called me a nut job snaggletooth. Thank you very much. So I'm seeing all these things with bright teeth, big bright white teeth staring at me. And in the Demeltzer charity shop, they've got a hound's head on a mannequin's body. So you've got a dog head on a mannequin's body. I managed to get some nugget in the candy shop. I live streamed in the cathedral and I was disgusted in the cathedral. Money making, that is all it is. It's just tourists grabbing their money, and of course people that live here have to spend out as well. I used to go into the cathedral and light candles. I used to light candles for my dad, my sister, and you know, I don't want to be watched over. It's a silent prayer I do for loved ones I've lost. And there was a woman standing there like collecting money for the candles, where there used to be a donation, like you put a couple of pence in there and you lit a candle. Now they want a minimum £1 donation. Money making scams worldwide, churches, everywhere. And people are poor. The public are poor. Didn't stay in the cathedral very long. I went out into the gardens. There was an Indian couple. I don't know what they were doing in the gardens. An Asian couple in the gardens, male and female. I filmed the statue in the cathedral gardens and where I used to go and sit. Came out of the cathedral, showed everybody the castle and the food stalls, but everything is so expensive you can't afford to buy it. You just can't. I showed you the pieces I picked up. Yesterday I came home and I didn't go out in the afternoon. It was so hot. I wasn't going to force my dog to walk around in over 20 degrees worth of heat. There was people walking their dogs down that high street, up and down, up and down, up and down, and you know, it was hot. I didn't walk Max down the high street in the heat. So Max had a rest at lunchtime and I stayed indoors, and I sat in front of fans and I was doing bits and pieces. I was trying to upload the Sweeps Festival videos to TikTok and to YouTube, but I was just exhausted and I thought, I'm having a rest. I mean, all these platforms making money out of me and I'm broke and poor. I thought, I'm having a rest. I'm fucking dog tired. I'm exhausted. I'm hot. I've had enough. I'm looking after my health. And I cut myself off. I didn't do any more videos from the afternoon all the way through to the evening. I didn't do anything. I'd had enough. You know, they're making enough money out of me. Rochester is now a really big tourist attraction. I mean, they're doing boat trips. I'm poor. I think they want to keep me inside the doors so nobody finds out what they're doing. You're just ripped off, and I kept seeing mugs everywhere. Dog mug, you know, we're making money out of you, you dog, you mug. So I thought, I've fucking had enough. Eventually I could make money out of TikTok. I could make a lot of money, so they're going to regret those words, I'm a mug. Seriously, they will do in the future. So he was out all day upstairs. The kids weren't running around. They were in next door, but I just ignored it. So we had no thumping on the ceiling. Thank God for that, because I had the most explosive headache ever. Bloody hell. Just before I had to walk the dog as well, and I came over all hot and I needed to get outside and get some fresh air, so I went out at 6:20 last night with Max, and I just whizzed out and back. No filming. Some people were trying to goad me behind my back. They were laughing on the fields. There was a group of them sat on a bench. Walked Max around the fields. 10 homeless people still on there. Walked around and there was these people on the bench, and as I walked around, they got off the bench and started laughing behind my back. One was a female, and I just held my head up high, walked in front of them and completely ignored them, because when you gang stalked, they like to trigger you off. You see, they like to make out you're a nutcase, and they are triggering you. They are saying things near your ear, shouting, yelling. It was all happening to me up and down the high street, but I kept cool because I was filming it and showing the viewers. I was showing everybody what was going on. I went into charity shops with the camera. I went up and down the street, in the cathedral, up around the castle grounds, everywhere. And everyone could see what I was coping with. So basically I had enough of that. I didn't have any beer, and I didn't drink any alcohol, and I didn't eat any of their food. I came home and cooked myself a healthy baked potato. It was horrendous. But shame on the cathedral, absolutely. Church of God, trying to make money out of tourists and the public. Crazy. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning, and may the 4th be with you. Why not ask me for a Star Wars impression, or a Star Wars joke? Or say, execute Order 66, or I am your father.
Alexa, tell me a Star Wars joke.
What do you call a statue in a Star Wars gift shop? Mannequin Skywalker.
Alexa, what's the time, please?
Good morning, Crystal. It's 8:39 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Sunday the 4th of May.
Alexa, what's the weather outlook?
Currently, in Rochester it's 9 degrees Celsius with clear skies and sun. Today, you can expect lots of clouds, with a high of 14 degrees and a low of 3 degrees.
It's cooling down a bit today, thank goodness for that. Alexa, who was born on this day?
Celebrities born on the 4th of May include Audrey Hepburn, Dawn Michelle Staley, Will Arnett, Keith Haring, and Cesc Fabregas.
So guys, I've seriously had enough of that. Everything's a rip-off. I went into the Demeltzer charity shop and there was this jumper. It was 20 quid. Nothing special about it, it was 20 quid. You can get some bargains, but it's finding them. And you say to yourself, when you get back home, is what I've bought worth it? Because you get caught up in the moment and you think, well, yeah, I want to get something, and then you buy something, bring it home and think, oh my god, I've paid all that money for that, I could have got that with it. I don't smoke, I don't drink, so I thought I'd treat myself to going down the high street and joining in the celebrations, that was all. So I took Max out for a walk last night. I was pissed off because these group of idiots were laughing behind my back and my head was pounding. Held my head up high, ignored it, came home, and shortly afterwards he came in upstairs with his Ford Mondeo, which is parked opposite the flats but not outside mine. He's in at the moment and he's been very quiet. I've got no complaints at all. The only noise that I had yesterday was from next door, who decided to pound the dustbin. They go out late at night between 12 and 1 to throw their rubbish out in the bin, and they bang the fucking door. I mean, next door that way was up at 7 this morning, banging the bin store, and their dog was barking down the corridor past my door, and that was at 7 this morning on a Sunday. But I get used to it. I just sit there. I go back and lie down until I'm ready to get up. We all know that sleep deprivation causes people to get very, very tired, disorientated and angry. And that's what they do it for. They try to keep you awake so that you act like a mad dog, in quotes. But to melt a charity shop, please take that ham's head off of that mannequin. Please. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Get more from your smart speaker by linking to your Global Player account. You'll then be able to catch up on your favourite shows on your smart speaker. Just say, ask Global Player to link my account.
Of course it was a turn-off, but if you have the right system, and this is the right system, it's also, if you really scratch all the experts who are trying to get a proportional system, they'll say, yes, this is the best way to do it. And then you need to get that one out. Also it needs a simple name, two past the post.
Okay, I'm drawn to the two past the post, in a sense. I would have to say that it's a shame you weren't watching Channel 5 back in 2011, because I did the alternative vote on a daily basis for months, mainly because I was hoping someone could actually explain how it worked to me over that time, and unfortunately I don't think we ever got there. Interesting. I still think it's a difficult sell, because the media is still owned by the same non-dom billionaires that owned it back in 2011, and they were in love with the first past the post system, as it constantly, or it seemed to, prefer returning Tories, which I would say in general our newspapers were quite happy with. Interesting. Now, I'm just going to take a little deviation away from this to talk about a really kind of extraordinary survival story in which 5 people were involved in a plane crash in the Amazon, including a small child, a 29-year-old pilot and 3 women. And they managed to survive in the jungles for something like 48 hours before being found by a group of fishermen. And I'm immediately reminded of Jeremy Wade, the great television angler, who long-time fans will remember he was actually filming in a light aircraft flying above the Amazon when his plane went into trouble, and you could actually see the entire crash as it happened on camera. And rather like these people, found himself trapped in the jungle. I think Jeremy actually walked out over a couple of days. I'm joined by Fraser Christian, founder of the Coastal Survival School, a chartered skipper and survival expert to boot. And if I may say, as I can see him online, he looks the part as well. Morning, Fraser. Morning, Fraser.
Good morning.
What do you know about what these people would have gone through for 36 hours out there in the jungle?
Well, the first thing is just absolute fear. Chaos. Your mind goes into what's called a survival mode, which is just panic basically, and unless you've had training and realised the symptoms or that mindset, or basically have muscle memory to react in those situations, everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, when you're in a unfamiliar situation, fear is the concept of the unknown. So that would have been the first thing that we've been going through. Absolutely terrifying, especially if it was at night, in water. None of us can breathe. And one thing I found funny was there were a lot of people talking about alligators and caimans on there, but what you can see, even if it's predatory, if you can see it, you can deal with it, and that can become food. What I'd be more concerned about, I teach at the Coastal Survival School many expedition leaders from go all over the world. I've never been to the Amazon, but one of my clients from Germany teaches expeditions in the Amazon, and I taught him how to make nets to catch piranhas. And because you said there was fishermen there, I'm presuming that under the water were lots of piranhas, and they would have known that. So dipping your toe in the water. But yeah, 72 hours. And the most important thing, if nobody knows you're lost, nobody is coming looking for you.